Amigüecha Bojo, Dona Maganadoka, Gizis, Napinikas, Mikinak, Joanimic, Sagito, Congo, Dingy, Pondose, Kishkwinin Indian Reserve. My English name is Harry Bone. I'm from Kishkwinin First Nation, by Riding Mountain National Park in Treaty 2. That's where I'm from. The term addiction, is an English word, like, you get attached to something in place of something else. See, the reason why we get addicted to something because we've lost the spirit within all of us. Physically, you have to match it with something. That addiction is, whether it's smoking, whether it's drinking, whether it's the weeds that we do or drugs, that kind of stuff. We replace it with something else. And the ones that are addicted now have lost, not in a negative way, the spirit of themselves. They're replacing with something else. So that's why that addiction is so strong. Because I have my own brother. He was the most gifted man I ever saw in our prayers. He's the one that can connect to the Creator to bless us when he did a pipe ceremony. But he never did practice these things in life because he was an alcoholic. And he would never do away with his alcoholic until he died. So in other words, he never really accomplished the kind of things that he's supposed to have done. You see, because even as bright as he was, as friendly as he was, as kind as he was, but he was addicted to a bottle of alcohol. As soon as he smelled that, then there's nothing that could stop him. See, he was addicted to it. Some people are addicted to smoking. Chain smokers, they smoke after another, that kind of stuff. They get addicted to something. But the addiction that you're talking about now is our young people. The drugs, all the drugs that they use. See, they replace them with something. That's the reason why it's there. But somehow you have to connect to the young people about their spirits. So that's why, coming to this place, going for a walk in the wilderness is important because it connects them back, to the beginning of their time. Somehow they have to make that disconnect. So it's not to blame them. It's not to say it's your fault, that kind of stuff, because it's not our business. We never blame. We never complain about something in our ceremonies. There's room for them as well to come. But we need to have that voice, that connection, that love as we talk to them, because they're very, very important. Young people are important, because that's why for us, the generation that you represent is our hope. What we leave in this world, I hope that you guys will pick it up. And you do. Gives us that ray of hope to believe that your journey from here is going to be an important journey. So I think for all of us, as we talk about that addiction now, it's not because something else to do, because what happened is because the very thing that the government wants us to be is to be on the negative side. That's why when they said they introduced all these things to us, alcohol, smoking, all the negative behaviors, drugs. Earlier on it was the minor ones, now it's bigger ones. But they introduced these things for us. That's because they still believe in that term, we and they. You're superior, we're inferior. Inferior means that we can't think anything of us in a negative, in a positive way. But we have to find a way. We have to find a way to connect them. We have to find a way to bring them to this place, a place of learning, a place of comfort, a place of home, a place of welcoming, a place of belonging. That's what they need. Because all of us are given a responsibility, all of us. Ever since you're born, you have a responsibility. You have to make a contribution in the world. That's our journey. Ever since you're right off born, whether you live 20 years, 40 years, 80 years, or so forth, you have a responsibility to do that. So we all have that responsibility because of these very teachings. So I think for me, the teachings of the ceremonies that we see, watch when the pipe ceremony is done. There are different ways that people do it. Sometimes they start off with the 4 directions to make sure that the circle is complete. They go upwards to the Creator last. The second one is the pipe ceremony also has 4 levels. 4 levels, like you raise that pipe this way, 2, 3, 4. Because the reason for that is because we go 4 levels when you go back to the Creator. The 4 levels, then we go backwards the way we came from. So that's why it's important. Those 4 journeys. So I think then if you're going to talk to the Creator, That's the prayer that you use. If you want to talk to other things, there's different ways of doing things. But this one here, I like that very much because then it recognizes my own observations, my own belief system, my own understanding. Because in this very place, Turtle Lodge, we established the great binding law, it was based on those principles, because that's what it is. Those other things come second, those other things, but this gives us a framework. Inakwanegevin gives us a framework, because in our own teachings, our elders tell us, every time that you see a pipe ceremony, every time you see those songs are given up. So two laws that come into existence right away. One is the spiritual law, the Creator's law. That's reference to the sun. The sun is not our God, it just represents the creation. The secondly, it represents the earth that we stand on, the natural law. So that's a sequence. And if you watch very carefully, about that pipe ceremony, that's the first thing that they do is point to the Creator, to acknowledge that Creator is equal for all of us. Second thing is to Mother Earth, the turtle, to honor the turtle. And the third is us as human beings, we're that sequence. So there's the Creator first, the land second, then us as human beings. So that's why those ceremonies are done that way. Then you also some elders will use different parts in their pipe ceremonies. Some use 4, some use 3, some use 7, and some use just 1. And it depends what kind of prayer they're going to be providing. But the prayer that I like is a prayer that my grandmother taught me when I first saw her. And over the years, this developed into what I know about how important that pipe ceremony is all about. So my grandmother, later on, then I learned, from another elder, about these words. And these words are Anishinaabe words. Of course, the tobacco is used. The elder would say, Misawe asema gamidakunak. In other words, we're just saying the tobacco in my hand is what's going to make that connection to our Creator, to listen to us. So that's very important to acknowledge that part right away. And then you say these things, you say those 4 terms. There's a reason why those 4 terms are important. Then you say, to our Creator, Pimatiziwin, that sentence is very, very important. Because what you're asking the Creator you're asking the Creator to bless us with that love and that respect and that kindness. But that blessing will make you believe. There's creation, there's a Creator. But the second most important that word, that sentence is, Mima Kejichigian. In other words, you action it. You don't just talk about it. In the gifts that the Creator has given to us. So that sentence is very important. Then of course, the second part is very important. We ask the Creator to bless us. We simply say that, in other words, what that means is put the Spirit into the words of the things that we're going to say, because that gives them strength to make them alive. So that's very, very important. Because these are not empty words that we're talking about. So then I think that's important. That's for the Creator. The second part is you acknowledge, the earth that we stand on, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, all the environment, the trees, the medicines, the plants, all that. You will recognize that as well as the universe, the stars, and the sun and the moon, that kind of stuff. You will recognize that as well as part of that process. And that's why you say, Mikinak, Minis, Turtle Island, how to breathe. about water. About the environment. We acknowledge all of that. So that's an important process of that, first of all, you acknowledge there's one creator for all of us. All human beings have only one creator. The second part is we acknowledge the earth that we stand on, the land that we have, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. It's all for humanity, it's not only for us. So that's, that's why it's important. We call that in our teachings, the spiritual law is the first law that we make reference to our belief system, the creator. The second is the natural law. The natural law is about the land. If you ever experience, sitting by the lake, listening to the environment, you hear the water softly, touching the land. You hear the breeze, the leaves, just quietly moving along, and because of the natural world. You hear all kinds of stuff sitting in that wilderness, in the bush, so to speak. But you also hear animals, you hear birds, you hear the sounds of nature. See, that's why we have to go to the land to learn how nature is alive. As you sit by that lake, you hear all these things, the natural sound, not the real sounds like a car moving on someplace or, that kind of stuff, but the natural sound. What even makes it complete when you sit at this lake and you hear that lone in the distance, making this cry, a cry that's, that gives a spirit into the words of what you're talking about. So that gives you that connection. So that's why, we ask our young people, go to the bush, go to the trees, go in the wilderness, to go and follow your dreams, because that's how you experience. You have to experience it. You have to hear. You have to feel. You have to have a belonging into the earth. That's what's important. So that's why the young people have dreams when they go to these bushes, because there's a spirit that's given to us. But over time, our spirit has, has gone to sleep, so to speak, because we've been influenced by something else, influenced by, the English language, the English teachings, all that kind of stuff. But that spirit will never die. That's why, our people will never die. No matter how much might, how much money they have on the other side, they'll never be able to take away the spirit, all of us, because when we die, the spirit goes to the creator. It doesn't go through them. So I think that's why it's important to have these teachings here at Turtle Lodge. I hear a lot of teachings here. I hear a lot of voices. I hear a lot of songs when our people sing that. My hope is about the young people will find their place in their hearts, the spirit, what we call it, to be touched by that, to make sure that they honor the spirit in themselves, to be able to accomplish the kind of things that they wish to do, whether it's their hopes, whether it's their dreams, whether it's something in the future. So I think it's important that you have to kind of clean your road along the way. Addiction gets in the way, because you'll never be able to accomplish those kind of things. So I think, you have to find a way to find the spirit within you. You all have a spirit, all of you. All young people have. It's within you. You have the power, you have the dream, and you have the access, and you have the ability, and you've been blessed with that spirit, all of you, no matter how addicted you are, you're able to accomplish the dreams that you have now, and the hopes that you have, then all that friendliness, all that love that you need in the future. I think it's important to make sure you're touched by that. So you have a journey, but you also have a responsibility. Not just believe things, you have to be able to do things for yourselves, because it's all in your hands. Then we can talk to you about anything about these things, but without you doing it, because the Creator's given to you that spirit to do things for yourself. So I think that's my message. I hope that you find deep in your heart, to touch your heart, to touch the spirit within you, to make sure it works. Because in your lifetime, you have a responsibility as well. You may have children, in the future. You have to provide a safe journey for them ahead of time. So I think that's important for all of us. So with that, Jimmy Witch.